When we talk about some of the most iconic holiday treats in the world, it's pretty hard to miss out on the delicious Italian dessert that's taken the internet by storm these days. Panettone is a fluffy, butterfly fruit-filled Italian dessert which is known for satisfying the taste buds of sweet lovers like nothing else. It's now become an iconic symbol of Christmas in Europe and in the Americas. But have you ever wondered how millions of these sweet delights are produced in factories every year? It's a fascinating process that perfectly blends tradition and innovation. Want to have a look? Well, allow us to take you to the iconic factories of Panettone. Before I give you a glimpse of the factory process of Panettone, it's worth mentioning the roots of this celebrated dessert, originating in the heart of Italy in Milan during the Renaissance period. It used to be traditionally made by hand, but it also symbolizes luxury and celebration due to its rich ingredients. Yet, for large-scale productions, the process is now dependent on innovative technology, and that's the reason you can have this piece of dessert in different parts of the world. To make desserts, you need to choose ingredients very carefully, as sourcing premium ingredients is the key to a tasty dessert. For Panettone, the factories rely on high-quality flour, fresh eggs, butter, sugar, yeast, and candied fruits like raisins and orange peels. But there are some manufacturers who love adding vanilla pods or special essence to enhance the flavor according to their taste needs. It's reported that many factories source flour with a precise gluten content of 12 to 14% to ensure the ideal structure. It's worth mentioning that the quality of these ingredients are responsible for determining the final taste and texture of this iconic dessert. Now, this is the phase where the ultimate Italian touch is added to the dessert. A traditional panettone relies on natural yeast starters, which are often known as lievito madre, or you may call it the mother dough. And here's the fun fact. This starter is nurtured for several days before the production begins. In factories, the industrial-sized mixer blenders add water, flour, and yeast into the starter to create a base dough. Moving on, the mixer is allowed to rest to ensure the tangy flavor is developed in the soft texture of the starter. It's believed that the fermentation process usually takes more than 36 hours to achieve an ideal flavor. Once the starter dough is ready, the first mixing step comes in, where large stainless steel mixing bowls are used to blend the starter well with additional flour, sugar, water, and yeast. The industrial mixers are responsible for kneading the dough to ensure it reaches the perfect consistency. Wondering about the time of the step? Well, it usually takes around 25 to 30 minutes. Once all of the ingredients are mixed, the dough rests for approximately 4 to 6 hours in a temperature-controlled environment in about 28 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius, as this allows the mixture to develop elasticity. Well, if you've ever tasted panettone, you would have noticed the rich buttery flavor and fruit pieces, as this is what makes the dessert special. Now, moving on, there's another mixing step where ingredients like butter, egg yolks, and sugar are added into the dough. If we talk about the standard batch of a large factory, it may include 200 kilograms of butter and about 1,500 egg yolk per production cycle. That's big, right? Well, in the final step of preparing the dough, fruits and raisins are folded into the dough, and high-tech machines ensure that every bite has the perfect flavor for the consumers. Even for a 1 kilogram loaf, about 150 grams of fruit and raisins are added to ensure it has an adequate amount of fruity flavor. Now that the dough is ready, it's proportioned into individual panettone sizes, and all the factories produce a wide range of varieties. May it be the traditional 1 kilogram loaf or small gift-sized versions for Christmas and other holidays. For this, automated cutters are put in place to cut the dough precisely. Machines then roll the pieces into smooth and round shapes that are easy to process in the upcoming steps. If we talk about the larger loaves, the dough balls can weigh more than 1.2 to 1.5 kilograms. Have you ever noticed the airy texture to panettone? Well, the proofing steps in the factories are responsible for giving you such a taste. The shaped dough balls are placed into iconic paper molds where they get their special dome shape, loved by customers in almost every part of the world. Moving on, these molds are then transferred to temperature and humidity-controlled proofing chambers, where humidity is controlled between 75% and 80%. Now, this process is the reason that you see the fluffy and delicate structure of panettone. Isn't it interesting how these tiny steps are responsible for the incredible taste of this dessert? Once the proofing chambers give out the panettone loaves, they're ready for the oven. Yet before putting it in for the baking process, each loaf is carefully scored with a cross on the top. Here, some bakers add their own signature ingredients, like butter, to enhance the golden crust of panettone. In factories, large convection ovens are put in place to bake the panettones on a specific temperature, which is usually around 180 degrees Celsius, for about 50 minutes for a 1 kilogram loaf. They have special ovens that are designed to circulate the heat evenly across the ovens, and that is how you achieve a uniform bake. This is exactly the artwork that we talk about when we say that panettones are more than just a dessert, as they're a masterpiece of Italian kitchens. One of the unique features of the whole process is the cooling phase, where freshly baked loaves are hung upside down to cool down, as this process ensures fluffy texture and prevents collapse of panettone. These factories have special racks with metal pins that pierce the bottom of the paper molds, as this method makes sure that the structure is intact and the iconic dome shape is kept preserved. This process takes about 8 to 12 hours, as it's essential to give an adequate time to panettones for cooling down properly and being ready for the upcoming steps. It's important to highlight that panettones manufacturers have quality as a top priority. At every step of the manufacturing process, there are sample checkers which examine the texture, flavor, and appearance of the dessert. Not only that, but there are specialized machines and sensors that measure the moisture content in the loaves, as it's controlled to be between 15 to 20%. To ensure uniform color, human inspectors check sample pieces at every face. Only loaves that meet the strict standards of the manufacturing facilities are packed in for the distribution. Now, our product's taste and quality are not only dependent on the ingredients and manufacturing process, but also relies on the packaging and distribution process of the products as well, especially when you're shipping out bakery products. Panettone factories use automated machines to wrap each loaf with enhanced precision and accuracy to maintain freshness as well. As panettones are usually loved during the holiday seasons, ribbons and decorative boxing are added into the packaging phase to make it look more appealing. Once they're packaged properly, the pallets are shipped to retailers and distributors worldwide. If we mention the peak holiday seasons, a single factory is responsible for producing more than 1 million panettone to meet the requirements of the masses around the world. Now, panettone is a perfect combination of traditional recipes and modern technology. The factories use computerized systems that monitor every stage of production. These innovations also ensure that consistency, speed, and efficiency is achieved in the process. Many factories still use the traditional panettone recipes with no tweaks in the process. The balance of tradition and innovation is what makes the panettone so special. Over 70% of the annual production of this dessert is projected during the peak holiday seasons, and this happens usually between October and December, when Christmas is around and everyone is going home to meet their families and enjoy the end of the year with some sweets. It's worth highlighting that the leading factories can produce more than 70,000 panettone loaves per day. It's fascinating, right? It's also exported to more than 120 countries, making it a truly international dessert. So the next time you're tasting a panettone, you'll remember the remarkable process behind the dessert. A process starting from careful selection of ingredients to the final packaging. Every step has its own value, adding flavor to the iconic panettone, a legendary Italian dessert. This was just a glimpse of how millions of panettones are made in a factory. What step did you like the most? Well, let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to add a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you're always in the loop for our next deep dive into the coolest production lines out there. Who knows, your favorite snack might be next on the list. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep on snacking and stay curious.